Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. So point it here. And you want
Yeah, okay. So we have a block of 5 presentations now, and that is summarized under the label of outside perspectives. But I want to really say we not feel really as outside people. Also, we are part of the community, and it is simply 5 of the key persons from Europe, and yeah, giving some reports a bit on their relation on GPS made, the CHAMP and Cosmic and all these things. I will be the first one of these guys from Europe, and I will give a bit on my impressions on GPS made and CHAMP, and from my point of view, both are pioneers in the field, and both, of course, represent also 2 stories of success. And my name is Jens Wickert. I was the PI of the radio occultation experiment about the CHAMP mission. Yeah, and my story was related to GNSS radio occultation started a bit away from both of Boda and both of Germany. So I was living more than a year in Antarctica and came back in 1995. And then, of course, yeah, I had to think a bit what else to do in my life. And I did one and one more of this 1 year. I did a vertical, some kind of classical vertical sounding with radio sounds, and we did it in the most days 2 times per day. Of course, it was not so easy. Sometimes it was a bit, every time it was a bit cold, and sometimes it was very windy. And so it is really a bit adventure all to launch radio sounds. So then I was in an interview invited from the German Aerospace Center, and it was the first time when I heard about this radio occultation. And it sounds a bit exotic, but really interesting. I never heard on that at that time, and I heard first time on GPS Med, and also the first time I heard on the CHAMP satellite. So this, of course, was similar data as from this was I have done a long time before. And they say, at the end from German Aerospace Center, that should work well. And GPS Med was demonstrating this, and with the similar accuracy as GPS Med. And then I said, okay, I have to say at Germany at that time, it was really nothing on radio occultation. It was work from the really scratch. There was no line of code, and this was the begin of GNSS radio occultation at that time. So what was followed was a fascinating, or that I could, I'm very grateful that I could participate here in a fascinating satellite project. That was the CHAMP project, what was really a great team. I was part of that team, and I'm now also really proud that I was part of that team. So only one example here from that work was I was one of the very few scientists who could participate in or could see the real CHAMP satellite. Together with Tom Meehan and Ludwig Grunwald, we did here some software upload, and it was hard work. The software uploads was done very, very often, and it was on the fly here. And yeah, it was really impressive. We discussed with Tom who was him, and we identified who was him, and I don't tell you who was him. Okay, and I think also I should mention that what was behind the CHAMP radio occultation, I think it was a deep US-German friendship, personal friendship of between the CHAMP PI here, Chris Reichber on the right-hand side, and Bill Melbourne in the middle. Bill Melbourne passed away not too far from now. Bill Melbourne at that time, when we installed the CHAMP occultation processing system, he was in Potsdam for a long time together with his wife, and he also wrote most part of his famous GNSS radio occultation book. We also see that we had a close relation to the GPS Med team here. So Chris Rotten was also 2002. He was very often, I think that was also related here to the ground-based GNSS as the coast action. So Chris, we had also a good and a close relation to Chris Rocken here. And our role model in radio occultation was the GPS Med team. I have to say this very clearly. GPS Med team, very nice people, very powerful team. And also what I think was a big, or one not was what behind the success of the GPS Med mission. So we see here on the right-hand side the access web page to the GPS Med data, the open data policy. So data from all levels were provided to the scientific community. And this was also one of the crucial things for the preparation of the GEM processing system. I mentioned that we developed the software from the scratch. That means the geodetic part of the processing software, but also the inversion software. This would not have been possible without the GPS metadata. Everybody knows Dark Hunt, of course, and also here a big thank you, of course, to the entire GPS Med team. But my point of contact was Dark Hunt at that time. Before the launch of GEMP, we were able to demonstrate that our processing system works. And we used the GPS Med data, of course, to do this level 0 data. So you know that GFZ also is doing the orbit processing. And here are some examples of the profiles here. Comparisons. UCAR was, of course, our comparison. Somehow, I do not know the English word, but we compared with UCAR data to test our results, and of course also metrological analysis here. And it really works. POD, double differencing. Double difference, and at that time means that we had to use a global network of ground stations, which provides 1 Hertz data. That was not so easy to install this network. Together, JPL, GFZ installed that network, but also the inversion software here was developed from the scratch. At the end of the GEMP mission, so we had, I would say, a quite successful mission, and also the first long-term GPS radio occultation data set. Uli Völsche mentioned I did not provide him any euro or some euros or so, that even with just a beer maybe later on. So 200 occultations per day over such long time. That was based on many, many scientific investigations on the ionosphere, climate change related, also weather research. And also we, developed this processing system under near real-time aspects. So the delay was here 3 hours between observation aboard the satellite and provision of corresponding analysis results at the ground. And that was also, I would say, the base of initial real assimilation studies. For me personally, I was asked also to give some comments on that. GEMP was for a long time, I would say, the only satellite who was providing, or which was providing radio occultation data. And many, many countries, many organizations in that period wanted to know how it works with the radio occultation. So I was invited in many countries. And so radio occultation opened the world to me. Here is one example where a bill that was our travel in 2009, where we invited from the Japanese colleagues. So that is not far from Kyoto here. And this was the Japanese person is showing us here. That is good luck for Jens Wickert. So that is my name here. And yeah, that was really nice travel also. And that is only one example. Also, what for me personally also was a good, I would say, business perspective here. So I became a professor here. Based on this was done with the GNS radio occultation since 2015 in one of the top 10 universities in Germany. That is the Technische Universität Berlin. I'm not sure, but maybe that is the first maybe chair on GNSS remote sensing worldwide also. And of course, it also pushes a bit the radio occultation activities in Germany here. And also last but not least, radio occultation involvement and also completed by the ground-based activities and the reflectometry. That was the reason for creation of a separate research field at our research institute. So GFZ is a solid Earth focused research institute, but of course more and more the system Earth is in focus of the research. It's more than the solid Earth, and the system Earth, of course, are all the spheres, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and all the things. So for a long time, more than 20 years, that was also the base. So that means also money. If you are part of the basic funding of such big research institute, that means that you have on a long term also money available, and we could fund our also radio occultation activities, as you know, CHAMP, TerraSat, Tamden X, based on the work in that research program. Thanks a lot, GPS Med team. I think this is a good moment to thank you. It's really great team, and you did an absolutely excellent job. And I speak also on behalf here of all our colleagues at GFZ working with radio occultation. Many, many thanks. Okay. And maybe the next speaker was also a personal role model for me. In case I had any question on inversion software, there was one, or there were two persons. Of course, Sergey. The other person was